All right, good job, everybody. We made it through the week to our new episode, and Brad has actually joined us. No one believed me that he was a real person. I don't know how many messages I got asking if Brad was real because he keeps flaking out. But look at him today. He even showed up yesterday because he's so eager. He doesn't know how to use a calendar, but he's here today. Thanks, Brad. And I'm joined by Carrie. Brad, so you're going to ask us some questions about how to train for a 70.3. But first, I want to know why did you make the switch from CrossFit to triathlon?
Well, that switch happened probably about 5 or 6 years ago. Whenever I actually put time in and looking at training for a tri and wanting to do a full Ironman and not just start with the half. But my cousin said, "Hey, I'm doing CrossFit. Why don't you come do that with me instead?" So I was talking and doing CrossFit for 3 to 4 years with my cousin. And ironic enough, he's done with the CrossFit thing and signed up for the Louisville 70.3. And he said, "Well, hey, why don't you join me with that?" So
you're completely unoriginal and you just do whatever your cousin says.
Yes, you could say that.
What's your cousin's name? Have I met him?
No. His name is Zach Huggins.
Zach Huggins?
Yep, Huggins.
You're making this up.
No, I'm not. It's from my mom's side. Another ironic story. I've always been into cycling. I've done a century, had a road bike, had a mountain bike. And whenever I would casually ride with this cousin and our other cousin, because all three of us are pretty tight, I would wear my bicycle gear, my helmet, my tights, and they would just not let me live it down. We'd be riding around Nashville, St. Louis, Indianapolis. I was ready. Well, come to find out, a year ago, he signed up to do a century ride, and I could not do that with him at that time. It was during one of my busy weekends, and he was pretty quiet throughout his whole training. I finally come over to his house to hang out, and he's got the tights. He's up to like 12 different bicycle jerseys. So now I didn't give him a hard time at all, but it's just kind of funny now. He gave me the hardest time, and now he is a huge cyclist. He just completed his first 100-mile ride. He did the Coleman in Indianapolis, where they go from Noblesville to Terre Haute. His mom, my aunt, is a breast cancer survivor, and it was the Coleman 100 ride. So that was a big inspiration for him to get that done. But maybe one of these next episodes you can have him on. He'd love to talk to you
I think we should have him. Carrie, do you have any other secret friends, cousins named Zach as well that is similar to my last name even?
No, I try not to associate with anybody named Zach. I do my best, but you unfortunately slipped through the cracks here.
What? Brad, you can't hear me? God. This guy. All right. Wait, I think he's back. Is he back?
You guys went quiet that time.
Yeah. Right. All right. What century do you live in, man? You didn't have a calendar. You didn't know how to show up on time either. You showed up yesterday.
I still work in Indiana, even though I live in Kentucky now. I still work in Indiana, so we're 1 century ahead of those guys down in the South.
When did you move to Kentucky? I didn't know you moved.
Yeah, so you asked about training. I haven't been training. I feel like it's going on the second month now of moving from our Indiana house to our Kentucky house. We're officially down to one house, so now I'm just working on unloading the boxes and listening to my wife and directions on which boxes go where. And of course, we got Christmas decorations going on now, so.
So you live in Kentucky, and then you just on the other side of the river and you drive up to go to work?
Yes. Yeah, I'm only 56 minutes from my work, from my Kentucky location.
56 minutes one way?
Yep.
I was just saying, you preface that with the word only, which for me is like, oh, God, if I have to drive 56 minutes one time, I'm kind of annoyed by it. So that's a haul, but.
Yeah, how are you going to fit training in?
Exactly. I'll fit it in. I don't have kids. I'm very fortunate in that part.
I'm with you.
So yeah, I'm going to miss. I used to ride my bike to work all the time. It was when I lived in Indiana, I only lived 16 miles away. And it only took me 52 minutes by bicycle to cover those 16 miles.
Mm-hmm.
When I would drive my car those 16 miles, it would take 38 minutes. So that was a big reason why I was like, I'll just ride my bike. It's not too much farther, and I get a workout in. But now I live 62 miles away, so one of these days I will ride my bike to work. But
that'll get you in shape real quick, commuting to and from.
Yeah.
Just 100-something miles a day, no big deal.
Why'd you move?
My wife got an incredible opportunity. She's in healthcare administration. She works for a hospital, but she's on the clinic side. She's in charge of all the clinics down there. So,
all right. Well, here's the real question: what bike did you get?
I'm still riding my gravel bike.
As you're training, or you got any plans to get a tri bike?
I'm just going to buy. I made the decision after our last conversation. I'm just going to purchase a road bike and modify it a little bit for a tri, but I will not be buying a tri bike.
Carey,
invest in
tell him how wrong he is.
No, we had this dispute. I'm on Brad's side here. Just pick up a pair of aero bars. Those are less than $100, and that's going to add a lot of speed for a very modest price. It's a total game changer if you're unfamiliar. That on a road bike is going to get you a long way. I fully support it, and Zach wants you to spend like $20,000 on a tri bike.
Just because I don't have kids doesn't mean I got 20 grand laying around to spend on a bike.
You can get a good bike for $4K. Good wheels, even wheels and bike for $4K.
What size is it? The running joke in my family right now is when I do buy that road bike, I'll spend more on that road bike than I do on my own car that I drive. I'm still driving a 2005 Prius. So
right on. I don't even have a car. That's why I can justify buying a new bicycle. I got to figure out if they'll finance it, though. I got called Big Shark this week. My coach already is asking why I haven't gotten my new bike yet.
What do you need a new bike for?
He says it's out. The tech's outdated, and I'll go a lot faster on a new bicycle with the current tech. I don't know what that means precisely, but if he's telling me to buy a new bike, by golly, I guess I better do it.
I think he's just telling you that your engine's shot.
That's what I thought for sure. The engine is the only thing that matters, right? But he doesn't think my engine may not be shot, but he doesn't think he can get any better. So now I have to buy it. We'll see what happens and what I end up with. But all right, Brad, what questions do you have for us?
You went over that one major question to be fitted or not to be fitted on the road bike. So we'll definitely be moving in that direction of getting fitted and then making my purchase after I get those measurements. NFL season's almost over. So for me, Zach knows this. I'm a bit of a sports gambler, and I've got about $5 grand put away from NFL winnings I'm going to spend on that road bike.
No, you haven't. Are you kidding me? You've been winning 5K. You got 5K?
Yeah. So,
holy smokes! What's that sports group you're a part of? I need to join it now. You pay for like someone who tells you what bets to make, right?
No. This is all on my own. I mean,
your own research. Why are you even working anymore?
Because
if you could just gamble it all and profit, that's what you should do.
Yeah. Why aren't you just switching your career into professional gambling on sports games?
You don't have to commute anymore.
Got to build the bankroll a little bit larger in order to not have a day job. I got a question. So I started the pre-training for the training. Yesterday I got a total of 12 miles running in, and I only swam once last week, and was able just to swim 600 meters or yards. Let's start there. Is it meters or yards?
It depends on the pool.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a pool, you just need to ask the place, because sometimes it'll be in yards, sometimes it'll be in meters. Generally, it doesn't matter that much, especially when you're talking about swimming laps, because you're talking about a difference of feet.
yeah.
That'll add up over 2,000 kilometers, but that's open water. That's a whole different ballgame, anyways. So as long as you're getting the reps in and you're training properly, you don't need to stress too much about whether it's yards or meters. But the question is, just the answer is ask the place, because it depends on the pool itself.
Okay. Well, I was able to do enough laps to rack up 600 without stopping.
Of something, 600 of something. It's probably yards. Usually it's yards.
So,
and the pool is usually pretty, in my experience, if it's like an Olympic, if it's big, then it's probably meters. But if it's like at the Y, it's probably yards.
yeah, it's probably meters. I'm training in Evansville, Indiana. That's where I'll be swimming. And if you know anything about swimming, Lily King is from Evansville, Indiana. So they just built a really nice indoor training facility for the high schools, for the public to use. So that's where it costs me $6 each time I want to swim. So I don't think that's too bad.
Wow.
It's still cheaper than paying like a monthly membership for me for the amount of times I'm going to swim.
Yeah.
So.
Who's the guy that played poker with us and was a triathlete? What was his name?
Jordan Wilkinson.
Yeah. Is he swimming with you?
No, not yet. He said he would join me, but his kids are getting to that age where he's really involved in their sports and in their training. Track stars, cross country stars.
Can you guys hate on children just a little bit more for me? It's like, kids
I
ruin
really
everything.
Can. It's very easy. Yes, I can.
Zach, you know how I feel about that. I give parents the most upright respect. Anyone that does a triathlon, marathon, century ride, like the fact that they still have the energy after taking care of their kids and working a day job to do that training, that's real impressive to me.
That blows my mind. So Alex is our next guest, and watching his Strava makes me feel tired just looking at it, because he will start like a 20-mile run at 3:00 in the morning and then go to work. And I don't even want to get up that early, like period, much less to go run in the dark and the cold. So how the parents are doing any of this kind of stuff blows my mind.
Well, Brad, what is your? I don't think you're gonna be able to do this. I mean, if you got a 2-hour commute 5 days a week, what's your plan? You gonna be like Alex, waking up at 3 a.m.?
You know me, I was already waking up at 4. So yes, when it's not so cold out, I'll definitely start doing the morning rides and runs. Being in the dark doesn't bother me. A couple of guys I ride with during the week, back in the summertime, when it would start getting dark or whatever, they'd be like, "Oh no, it's too dark. I got my kids to think about. What if I get hit?" I was like, "You can't think that way." So, like, we got lights. We're just going on. So, but no, this would be good motivation. I'll prove to you, Zach, that I can get it in, even with a 2-hour round trip commute. So hey, put it this way. I would spend 2 hours a day just listening to podcasts, scouring the internet for like sports gambling news and info.
Well, that makes you money. That's justifiable.
And now I'm kind of doing that while I'm in the car. I can listen to all those podcasts instead of just sitting around the house listening to them. But back to the swimming. I'm really concentrating on not pushing off the wall. Like, I don't flip turn. I'm no swimmer. Like, I can swim based off my previous endurance events. I know that I swim. So when I touch that wall, I don't kick off of it. I just kind of like touch it, turn around, and start swimming again. Is that good advice for training? Because it's not like you're going to have a wall to push off of when you're out in the open water.
So my coaches had me do that as a technique rep. Because that forces you to think about when you're swimming in open water, if you stop to sight or it slows you down, like, you need to have the comfortability to be able to rebuild your momentum. As far as doing it for every single rep you do in the water, I don't know if that's really that useful. I don't push like as hard as I can off the wall, just enough to kind of maintain my momentum to keep going. But I wouldn't live or die by whether or not you kicked off the wall or not.
Okay.
I read that the flip turns are important because it teaches you to not sort of catch your breath every lap. So in it, I mean, it's nearly like I guess you can hold your breath consciously, but I think anytime you put your hand out and turn yourself around, you have that half second where you kind of catch your breath, and then that starts to build into a habit. Whereas when you're flipping, like I'm terrible at flips and distance in the pool. I hate it, but I notice after a few laps that my lungs are starting to hurt because of holding my breath so much. But so I've read that. I'm not saying that by way of experience. I will not answer any of your swimming questions because I'm much faster in the pool than I am in open water, and I've not figured out how to be fast in open. I'm the same speed. Doesn't matter what gear I have on. I'm going an easy 2 minutes per 100.
Well, you got all that chaos happening around you. That's one thing I've never done. I've never swam in open water with like 50 people around me. So
Oh, it's terrible. It's the worst, absolute worst. If you're nervous about it, scoot back and let people go in front of you because you're gonna get hit. I've been hit. I swear during the world, people were grabbing my leg and pulling me down. Like I accidentally hit people for sure. Like it's just going to happen. But I don't think I like cuff or like grab, and it really felt like they were grabbing me. Are there any open bodies of water where you can practice swimming other than the river?
well, I'm not swimming in that river until it's time to do Louisville 70.3.
All right.
But yeah, I'm farther down southwest of Louisville in the Ohio River, and that's where the event's going to take place in. But no, I got to find a lake. Yes, definitely got to find a lake. Zach knows this about my wife and I. We love to go to Florida, so I'll get some ocean swimming in as my open water.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So.
Definitely swim in the ocean.
Yeah.
All right, what else? What's your final questions here before we got to go?
Your guys' very first tri event, doesn't matter what distance. What was the number one thing you guys worried about? But then when you finished that event, you're like, oh, I don't know why I was even worried about that.
I was worried about everything, and I think I was justified to be worried. What were you saying, Carrie?
So I'm trying to remember what my first race was, but I'm realizing my first one I did with my brother, and so it wasn't like it's kind of a different context. So ultimately, it was this swim that always stressed me out, just because so much.
Swim is exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, and it always, once you settle in, for me at least, 90% of the time I could settle in and just kind of go and just enjoy it. There were a couple earlier races where I kind of let myself get stuck in that feedback loop of, oh my God, my arms are tired. I feel like I'm going to be out here forever. This sucks. I hate this. This is not fun anymore. I don't want to do this. And what I learned from that is I have to like stay very much on top of that emotion because otherwise it's going to ruin that swim for me. It's not going to be fun. So as long as I very closely monitor my thoughts during the swim, I have a good time. So that was probably one of my earliest learnings as far as racing goes.
Yeah, I think swimming for me, like my first race was a sprint, so it was in a pool, so it was 400 in a pool doing laps, and like that went terrible. Like I had like a panic attack. I had to like hold onto the side of the wall and let myself recover, and then finish. But in my first 70.3, which was my second triathlon, I remember being like, "Holy crap! I have to go this." I was at the halfway of the swim. I was like, I have to keep going, and then I have to do the bike, and then I have to do like I was kind of overwhelming myself, and then I just realized like, no, just get the swim done, and then worry about the bike, and that was all I did. Then it was just like, all right, let's get the swim done, and if things go bad, but at least we can get out of the water.
Okay.
When do you start your real training?
I think I chose to do the 20 weeks out training. So I'll have to go back from our event date. Maybe on our next episode, I'll be a little bit more prepared and have that for you.
Yeah, I want to know how many miles you're running, how many bike miles you're riding, and what your distance is. and then we'll have to talk times too. Because
Yeah, sounds good.
I
Yeah,
don't-
my concentration right now is swim 3 times a week and run 3 times a week. So that's what I'm going to work on these next couple of weeks.
All right, cool. Well, I'm glad we were able to connect. Glad you were able to join us. Carrie, thanks for making the time. I know you got to bounce right now. And all right, everybody, we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining.